finally tonight to camel racing, not quite the sport of kings, but one with a proud history in the outback. Every year in Marree in South Australia, the Camel Cup attracts visitors from across the country. Entrants compete for a small cash prize and a gold cup named in honour of Afghan camel drivers who played a big role in opening up the inland. Mike Sexton reports on the race that stops a town.
It seems the hardest part of camel racing is convincing the camels it's a good idea.
Hang on, having a bit of trouble here. We're having a bit of trouble there with Printy in lane 1.
As in kindergarten, nothing begins until everyone's quietly sitting down. And that's when the starter stirs things up again.
They're off. Here we go. Bang, and they're gone. Here we go. It's on.
What follows is an unpredictable sprint over 400 metres of bulldust with no guarantee the camels will take the shortest route to the finishing post.
Trigger's gone all over the place. You having a bit of fun at the back there?
This is the annual Camel Cup race meet at Marree, where the Birdsville and Oodnadatta tracks meet in South Australia's far north. It's an event that attracts enthusiasts from around the country.
Oh, it's more laid back than all the other ones. It's not so... it's a lot easier to go with. There's no set times and everything. You have to be here, be there. It's just so much more relaxed than everywhere else.
Is it fun to ride a camel?
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty fun, but probably not so much fun the first time you ride them.
The camels assert their authority in various ways, sometimes passively.
He sat down, pulled up.
And other times aggressively.
Handler!
Before the start of race 1, Victorian trainer Peter Chandler was headbutted by one of his chargers. The incident didn't deter his 16-year-old daughter Grace, who's won the past 3 cups and been riding camels since she was 4 years old.
They're fairly bumpy, so there's a handle there, and you hang on to that and it's fairly easy.
One of her rides, Northern Radar, was more than a little bumpy, because up until a month ago it was roaming wild in the Simpson Desert, and it had just been broken in time for this event. Such roughies are a nightmare for Whyalla bookie Bruce Smallcombe, who has to frame a market for the local races.
I just keep the records from last year and the year before, and you learn about them. You learn whose camels are who.
If a visitor from the city came to Marree to see the Camel Cup, they'd probably describe it as just another eccentric outback event, and they'd be right. But it is a little different. You see, today is partly a celebration of family and of culture, of religion, and of overcoming the odds. These days, Marree is a staging post for those wanting to explore the outback, but last century it was an important railway town. As the end of the line from Adelaide, trains here brought vital supplies to the inland and returned with cattle for market.
It was a busy town, yeah. And there were houses all the way along, right through. Yeah.
All this was railway houses, right through and right up there and down there.
With the transshipping time.
Yeah. We sort of got a good start here, you know.
Dawn Wilmot and Val Gresham grew up in Marree along with their 9 siblings. They all lived in a corrugated iron house in a section known as Gantown because it was home to the Afghan cameleers and their families.
Oh, but they were really good with their camels. They cared for their camels. They loved their camels.
I don't like them, they're dirty things.
The term Afghan was a generic one for the men who came to South Australia from all over the subcontinent and Middle East early in the 19th century.
They came out as cargo rather than as people, because when they were brought to this country, they were never manifested as passengers because of the White Australia policy. So basically it was so many camels, so many donkeys and so many handlers.
The cameleers opened up the outback for the overland telegraph and eventually the railway that went on to Alice Springs. It was named the Afghan Express in their honour and is now shortened to the GAN. At Marree they built the first mosque in Australia out of mud bricks, and their spiritual needs were met by Mullah Asam Khan.
The mullah was in charge of looking after the mosque, making sure that everyone did their prayers, keeping protocol. Also, he was the spokesperson of the group.
Greg Burke is the mullah's great-great-grandson and, following tradition, splashes water on the graves of his ancestors. He sees their legacy everywhere in the outback, including at the races, where his niece represents the family in a special event for Afghan descendants.
She's got in her blood, though.
They're coming home! Dish Dash is in the lead, but Panda's pulled out the whip.
The high point of the afternoon is the Camel Cup, which Grace Chandler wins by 3 lengths on Dish Dash, the 5th consecutive title for the Camels.
Here comes Dish Dash. Woohoo!
She just loves running. A lot of camels won't, they're not keen on running, but this one, she's got it in her. Some, you're lucky if you get a camel that wants to run. There's a few around, but this is one she just likes to motor.
It's a happy end to a mixed day for owner-trainer Peter Chandler. His camels have given him both a gold cup and a broken eye socket.
Anyway, that's racing for you. No worries, thanks, fellas.
One race on which you'd be wise to bet sparingly. Mike Sexton with that report, and that's the